back to the desk. Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, my name is F. Dot. His name is Toli. Anna, if you want to be even more specific, and we're going to get into SoaR versus Enemy.
Today is my day. It's Mother's Day, right?
Mama Toli, yes. The old classic Mama Toli is going to be joining me here today. So, SoaR versus Enemy. What can you tell me about what this matchup entails?
So last week, number 5, we saw specifically that they split the series. We had PainDeViande doing really well job with Odin in the first game. Second game, Odin was banned, so they didn't have that luxury to go with the Odin-Thor-Zeus combo in the first game. So quickly, SoaR is good in terms of adapting to the situation.
So we'll see what SoaR can bring to the table versus Enemy. Enemy we just saw, they got to play 2 games. Now SoaR, on the other hand, previously, before Enemy just won their 2 games above Envy, SoaR was actually nice and even. Directly even. These 2 teams were tied for number 1. And I think both of these teams sort of surprised people in general. Nobody really came into the season saying, well, Enemy and SoaR are going to be number 1 clearly. I think there were a couple of different contenders. What allows SoaR to be so successful?
The fact that they've been playing together, not on the same competitive team, but behind the scenes, they always play ranked games together, they play casual games together, so there's a lot of synergy with SoaR. We even saw Baskin leave former C9 to join SoaR because that's his friends.
So that idea of just, we're going to play with some friends, we're going to do this, that, or a third, that's not just for fun, that's not just intramural smite. That's a way to win, making sure that you're comfortable.
They have their eyes on the prize, but at the same time, they're friends, so it makes it that much easier when you build that synergy together for so long.
I mean, we saw that on the flip side with Denial. Mask has been very successful in just one set back, you know, and he had tried different teams and whatnot, and Drelo, the coach, came out, and I really respect what Drelo is able to do from a coaching position. And, you know, in between the memes you got to read, but he did tweet out, he said, look, listen, when you have a team that you can trust and that you're dependent on and that you're all friends, different things come out. So SoaR, they've been very successful with their unit today. They're going to take on Enemy one more time. Can Enemy take 4 games in a day? That'll be tough, but let's find out. It's going to force Jigz under the tower. Doesn't get any stuns, but we don't need stuns. We've got damage. Hurriwind catches 2 in the current.
Back in, looking for the thunder step. Immediately Eagles rally. Andy will not get the kill. Baskin survives, and now they're diving for Baskin potentially hit. But Blink from PainDeViande trying to force this enemy. This is a mistake because Homiefe double kill.
First pick on the left side, they're going to go to the friends. SoaR G2A in blue will get your first pick and your first ban. Enemy, on the other hand, they'll get 2, but they'll be second.
I expect a strategy from SoaR to ban out PainDeViande with the Odin, maybe an Athena, elect to go for an early Khepri pick. Gonna have the Soul first ban, however.
Yeah, Soul has been pretty powerful on the Enemy squad. We've seen it both in the long lane and in mid, so just taking that out. Enemy, you know, me and Hindu thought it was just Ionic. They just don't like Sobek.
Sobek is very annoying, especially considering the Jigz is go-to god, especially with Homie playing the Willish every now and then. That's the easiest setup in the world. Tail flip into the Willish ulti. Kali gonna get banned by Enemy.
And then also, Sobek just changes the whole dynamic of that lane. I always chalk it up to something called Sobekitude, which is just, you got to be aware of that pluck can come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you're behind the enemy wave. So that's a little bit problematic. SoaR, they're going to go ahead and pick up Zeus this time around as well, just like last match. So Zeus really has been very prominent. Why is that?
Khaos has been practicing Zeus a lot. Hurriwind has been practicing Zeus a lot. With a change to his shield recently, it provides a lot of easier targets to bounce between with the chain lightning. You hit the shield, you hit the chain lightning, it bounces between the targets in a jungle fight. It's the crucial factor in winning the fight. We do have Xbalanque and Guan for Enemy.
Yeah, the Xbalanque, no surprise to me. This is PandaCat's god. And we've seen him play different gods towards the beginning of the season, but once Xbalanque sort of became acceptable, I guess, Throwing Dagger allows Xbalanque to be played. PandaCat's the first one. Now, he wasn't literally the first one to play it. That was Zap. But he's the first one to say, more please, I will take Xbalanque every chance I get.
I like the strategy from SoaR, picking up the Kuang and the Khepri. What they're relying on is Zeus being able to do the initial burst damage just to have the Kuang executable threshold to follow up. The Khepri is very safe in the dual lane as well, considering that Pain's going to be very aggressive with the Guan Yu. Enemy Khaos playing Janus very well that last set, going to lean a little bit more this set.
And also, not for nothing, the Kuang Khepri, this just shows how smart SoaR is. I always talk about Jigz' mind for the game, and this is very important. The Kuang and the Khepri, you don't have to waste a secondary ban on the Kuang because you have the Khepri to protect protect away from the threat of the execution going through the Khepri shield. Now you've got both on your team. You utilized your pick and ban strategy very, very intelligently.
Hui going to get banned away for Metyankey. He has been leaning on that god a little bit this season. Vamana for enemy, taking that away from Baskin. He's very comfortable with Vamana. However, his god pool is so high and versatile that you can't really pick or ban him out.
Yeah, it's much less about taking something away from Baskin. Just Marauder wants to play Vamana and it'll work out very well. The hunter of choice will be Apollo.
And usually in the second pick scenario, you want to last pick your soul lane to get that counter matchup. And in this situation, when you reveal your cards too early, here comes the Osiris with the anti-heal. So whenever Vamana goes in the big baby form, here comes the Osiris ult for that 100% healing reduction.
Enemy leaving their last pick for their jungler, and that's why Arachne was picked up, and they wanted to leave that absolutely last. This is going to be the first time that she's been played in the SPL. A bunch of changes have been made, not so much recently, honestly. What brings Arachne in here? Why does Varizial want to play the spider?
Her early jungle clear is really easy to do. Now, the thing that you have to look out for is every time the Kuang Water Lucian will come out, if you can web him before that comes out, the trail of the web will follow wherever the Kuang goes. You're not going to necessarily see him like the Hui Golden Crow, but you will see it on the ground.
So enemy has the tools to mitigate the invisibility of Kuang. Will SoaR win, or will they be invisible in this set? We'll find out. Enemy versus SoaR, game number 1.
Oh, but PandaCat with rotation. Desert's Fury on point. Yo, PandaCat, he's on fire right now.
Purification forced by Homiefe. Homiefe trying to make it work, but Chaos definitely making it work. Hurriwind takes a spill. 4 kills in total for enemy. Here
Actually
comes
going
enemy.
to end.
They're going to skip the Phoenix. The surprise win from enemy. Luminosity had no idea. Riding along with Varizial on the spider. Again, the first time we've seen her in the SPL. Her build looks very standard. Bumba's mask into some booties, and you got to buy that purification just in case. So what this character brings, a lot of melee upfront damage. She's basic attack in general.
And she also can dish out a lot of damage and sustain with her first ability, getting a lot of heal. She has the CC immune ulti, and she has the purification to deal with the Kuang dragon.
And so honestly, Arachne's just annoying. She's just really obnoxious. She gets under your skin pretty much in all purposes of the word. And what happens is so many slows, so many, like you said, the lifesteal, the basic attacks. Expect many winged blades coming out from the opposition on SoaR for sure.
And if you can survive the early game from SoaR, then you can maybe look for aggressive plays in the jungle. Otherwise, I'd be very cautious. If things are even, then the Arachne is going to be doing a lot of damage. On the flip side, however, you do have the Kuang and the Zeus, which is also going to be able to do a lot of damage. This is the one advantage that Arachne has, being able to drop the spiders early on. You're not going to take too much damage. You're going to be able to clear very efficiently, and you pull the blue buff very quickly.
Blue buff, yeah, this one will go down very quickly, and Varizial will be able to help out Marauder as far as that's concerned, and then our jungler will meet up in the mid lane as per usual. So what's different about Arachne from various other gods? Like Bakasura, we usually see lots of invades and some other characters who we see early ganks. What do we expect out of the Arachne in the game?
She doesn't have mobility in terms of movement speed increase, but she has the slow, like you mentioned. She has the distance gap closer with her ulti. If anyone escapes, she can chase that target down. And with her second ability, giving her that attack speed steroid and the stun, that could be a lot of burst damage and potentially kill anybody that's relatively low.
This character has been changed recently. This character has been changed in the past. It's gone over multiple complete reworks. But one thing remains constant with Arachne. You don't fight the bug. So this invade right here, you just don't want to contest with this Arachne, because if you go toe-to-toe, or I guess claw-to-claw with Arachne, you're just not going to wind up on the top.
I like this escape path that enemy decided to do. They knew that SoaR was just clearing the wave in middle. They could have potentially got caught off there. They saw SoaR walk over the ward. Very nice ward coming out of enemy.
And again, that just allows them to find the detour. Mid lane will be matched up one more time, and after this, we'll likely see enemy head back to their own jungle this time around. Hurriwind and Homiefe now pushing up against their opposition on the tower.
So SoaR started off right side mid Harpies into blue, and because of that, Hurriwind gets level 4. Chaos, despite getting some back Harpy steals, is still only level 3.
And that'll stop a lot of some of the aggression that you might have expected.
Exactly.
there's some decent clear coming out from SoaR right here between the Homiefe and Zeus. Not exactly known for their early game prominence, but definitely something that they could do against the Arachne, who's going to have trouble really walking up into the middle of the wave.
Exactly. Like going up to the middle of the wave as Arachne against a Zeus is not something that you want to do. Janus needs to rely on a little bit of a setup earlier on. Arachne is not going to provide that much setup. Have to be very cautious if you're Janus also.
Yeah, this meta, if you will, the common strategy of the jungle and the mid combining for a quick burst is definitely not what Arachne brings. She's much more the individual ganker. Definitely the opposite of what you see out of Fenrir's and Naja's and the Thor pick. So very interesting to see this, not just because it's a rare god to see as he invade over on the enemy pigs, but just because of the way it works out. And they're going to start a fight all of a sudden. Out of nowhere comes the ultimates from the mid lane. Big rotation, and there's the first kill. First blood going the way of Homiefe. Up in the dragon form, looking for something else. Gonna land right on top of Varizial. Arachne, nowhere to go. Surrounded. One behind, two in front. Rooted is strong. Purification used. And the spiders to try and create some distance. But the Hugbug grabs one, and PandaCat falls as well. 2 kills for SoaR to start this one off.
Normally, we don't see enemy being behind this early in the game, but because of the strong push coming out of the dueling between the Khepri and the throwing dagger Apollo, complemented with the mid lane pressure that they had, allowed them to collapse on the jungle boars, and the Janus ulti that tried to deflect that kind of invade wasn't just good enough. The experience lead definitely favoring SoaR off the board still, getting level 5 in that situation. Pain was still level 4, gets executed for the first blood.
Very different situation for enemy here in this second set. In game number 1 and game number 2 of Envy, they pretty much started off very hot within 2 minutes, 2 kills, etc., etc., etc. Quite a different story, as in set 2, SoaR starts off game 1 quickly.
And what's really important about this, when you don't give enemy a lead like this, you don't really have to worry about them getting this early gold fury like they normally do. In the first game, we saw them get it at the 5-minute mark.
And that's something that you can, enemy is expected to make these plays. They're expected to go ahead and find these early objectives and stuff like that. Metyankey just tanking the Guan Yu damage because he knows there's not going to be any follow-up. Like that confidence in the play. But like you said, SoaR almost have to start the party off soon to mitigate the inevitable enemy play.
And the team fight presence that enemy has with the Guan Yu is very strong. So shutting him down in the beginning of the game, already 2 levels behind the Khepri, is a great way to start it off for SoaR.
And that's exactly what they're going to look to do. Almost 5 minutes on the clock, and SoaR find themselves with a slight lead. Almost 2,000 gold, more like 1.5, but we'll round up for SoaR. And they're looking very strong so far. And when you've got a Zeus and an Kuang, that's something that you're happy of.
It looks like, and SoaR wants to be the ones to start the early goal here at the 5-minute mark.
There's with the Zeus ultimate. I mean, this is how enemy was able to do it last time around, was with the big Zeus ultimate. Khaos shows up a little bit too late, and it looks like enemy want to make the play. Varizial going pretty damn deep. There's a portal, and there's some movement speed, and there's the ultimate. PainDeViande stuns out one. Jigz gonna fall. Varizial credit for that off the assist of the whole team, sans the side lane, and enemy wind up with a kill to answer, but it was after a gold.
Really good capitalization from enemy, getting the kill like you mentioned. They need more than just this kill. They need to potentially steal some farm away from SoaR's side of the map. Nothing really to take right now. Red buffs are down, blue buffs are down. The only thing that's up for SoaR is the solo lane boar right now.
What I do like about that, and again, it's a testament to enemies' play calling and shot calling right there, that was not an opportunity for a kill.
Apollo's in the sky. Looks like they want to put some aggression on PainDeViande, or no, they're going to switch to PandaCat.
PandaCat purifies to get rid of the knockup from Apollo. Smart play there, but Homiefe, he's got the execute close enough, and there it is. PandaCat finds his second death of the game in just 6 minutes, and it's all because of the aggression coming out from largely the jungler.
And now we have the 2-man gank squad. Khepri's here using the ultimate to bail out Metyankey. Beautiful play from Jigz.
Jigz is one of my favorite Khepris to watch. He not only does he always find the ultimate, which whatever, the positioning that he ults from is very important, and that's what makes him fun to watch.
Whenever you're a Khepri, if you can ulti from max distance while still having your dash, you can utilize that dash during the travel time, even creating more safety distance for your hunter as you resurrect him.
Yeah, there was no way to follow that up unless you're a Janus or a Thor. And, well, neither of those characters on the right side of the game, so SoaR wind up with a 3rd kill.
And off of that, we do have a Janus ultimate across the map. They're looking for Homiefe. He is hidden at this moment. Can Varizial find the web to slow him down? Xbalanque ultimate was used, so they see that little circle around him.
From there, Homiefe now surrounded, no invisibility allowed, and Varizial finds a second kill. This is where you're expecting the Arachne to really be strong. Now, in previous iterations of this character, this was sort of like Thanatos or Chalk, where it's 10 minutes or bust. Can Arachne last into the mid and the late game?
She could, because they have the Guan used. So whenever she goes in, she's going to get her heal off. She'll still get targeted, obviously,
Right,
because she's an assassin. But then they have the Guan Yu on top of that.
Successful stuff coming out from enemy, dancing with SoaR. But again, there's that early gold fury, the 2,000 gold. And this time we don't have to round up. It's still very, actually we do. It's like 1.7. Don't hit graphs, please, SNK. I really don't want to see that. But we're close enough to 1.8K. All right, folks, it's almost 2K for SoaR right now. But enemy still contending very well.
I like the way both teams are playing objectively. SoaR gets the gold fury, enemy finds the kill. SoaR finds another return kill, and then enemy finds another kill. And on top of that, then they get the blue buff.
And that's what's to be expected. Like I said, I mean, these aren't just two top-tier teams. If you take away the set that enemy just played, these are literally the both #1 teams in North America. They were tied for first. So there's a lot of intelligence. There's a lot of talent here, specifically on the intelligence side of the game. Sometimes you see teams that succeed just off of brawn, just raw mechanical skill. There's a nice balance of brawn and brains on both of these squads.
And it just goes to show how even they were. Before the earlier set today, like you mentioned, they were tied.
Yep.
This is the second time that they're playing. So whatever happens after this, they're not going to face each other unless they both meet again in DreamHack. If enemy wins this, then they create themselves a 4-win gap. If SoaR wins this set, then they're tied yet again with enemy at first.
So many implications for the standings on this one. In all honesty, I really expect both of these teams to go to DreamHack, and if they don't, it'll be just a testament to the strength of the league, because these guys are, sometimes these teams seem unstoppable.
Or could it be a possible caster's curse?
Anything's possible, you never know. But look at this, PandaCat on the left side. Caught out just a little bit, was a little bit up forward, but that nice ward vision forces him back on the tower. But while he's forced on the tower, and SoaR will go ahead and force out the boars.
Second boar stolen so far coming out of SoaR. Really nice recognition. Recognize that nobody was there. The vision control belonged to them. Taking full advantage of it. Taking away farm from Xbalanque is really good as well, because you don't want to deal with him in the mid to late game. Or if you can at least delay it as long as you can, that's a good positive.
SoaR are an extremely opportunistic team. They're going to find PainDeViande and just happen to go ahead and grab him. And that might be a problem with the ultimate out of Janus, turning things around. Hurriwind's going to dance in his ultimate. The wait. Khepri. Shield doesn't fall, and Homie finds the kill on the PainDeViande. Sometimes you want to wait that Khepri shield out, but other times, there's the answer. SoaR does it right, 4 kills to 2.
So, the way enemy has their comp revolved around the Guan Yu and the Arachne. Oh, hold that thought. Homiefe gonna find the execute, but Metyankey.
Yeah, Metyankey falls and takes out Varizial as well. Now PandaCat just gets hit by Homiefe as well. SoaR off to a tear here, 28,000 gold to 26. This early, and they're looking to extend it one more time with Gold Fury, one more time. Looks like there's really not that much competition for it. Vamana's here, and with the Janus, that'll certainly change things. There's the damage coming out from Zeus. Marauder falls, and he doesn't even need to be executed. Hurriwind with a strong chain lightning detonate combo takes out the solo laner. All here is Guan Yu and Khaos, who does find a strong vortex, and that'll force SoaR off of the objective.
Enemy just trying to do anything that they can to get SoaR off of this gold fury. Yet again, the Janus able to find the kill onto Hurriwind. In the backline, however, PainDeViande taking a spell. They did a good job. Even though they traded Pain, they got Hurriwind in the process, and they got them off gold fury. Khaos is going to try to chase Metyankey.
Metyankey's going to be greeted by Jigz, who does have the ultimate. Does not have the ultimate, just used it on Hurriwind earlier on. So we're going to find the kill from Khaos again. Not quite a double kill, but Khaos is finding the important kills here.
So much back and forth between these two teams. They definitely deserve to be first and second. Enemy securing the second gold fury, first for them.
There's a sprint looking for more on the jungler. Blink away. Homiefe actually finds Varizial with the blink and the teleport, and Khaos is absolutely on fire today.
The mechanical skill coming out of Khaos is just unbelievable. The earlier game that he played, the Janus getting the kill onto Ionic through the map.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
Khaos looks to be on a different level today. His team's still trailing, but just the defense on that Gold Fury was largely brought to you by Khaos. Finds a couple of kills after the fact, and then again the chase away brought to you by Khaos. He's 3-0-2 right now. That's 100% kill participation, and he's been the majority of the damage as well. Top player damage, 5,800, over 600 more than anyone near him.
And about 2,000, that was probably from that last Gold Fury when he just consistently threw out those unstable vortexes from the back. They chased PainDeViande away from Gold Fury instead of trying to get Khaos away from the Gold Fury. Khaos has the burst, not Pain.
And also, I mean, just the positioning, honestly. A lot of people at home probably saying, I mean, you hit 3 people with Unstable Vortex, big deal. But it's not about the spell hitting, it's about the positioning. He's playing a lurker, like he's playing Counter-Strike. Just coming around the backside, able to find without anybody noticing. And that kill on the Hurriwind, that was simply because Janus was not where Hurriwind expected him to be. So just spectacular positioning is allowing Khaos not only to perform well and us talk about him, but keeping his team in the game.
And that's what you have to do as a mid player. When you don't have your jungler, you have to be as sneaky as you possibly can. You're exposed. You don't have those natural stats like a warrior or a guardian will have. So you have to utilize your positioning to your advantage. Varizial going to get poked out. The Janus ultimate connecting onto Homiefe, 50% of his health gone.
And I like that play at Janus one more time, just again, not to harp on the fact, but just trusting the team. And this is less about Khaos and more about the culture of enemy. Varizial goes for the tower dive, and Janus is just expecting the stun come out. Varizial makes the smart plan and retreats because of the 3 players here in the mid lane, but he's expecting the stun. The follow-up damage is there to confirm.
And what I like about that is, even though they didn't get the kill onto Homiefe, it forces him to back. We saw in the last set when Omega was playing the Naja, he only had 1 death in the early game, but around the 12.5 minute mark, he was level 11, consistently getting really low, and he had to back about 4 to 5 times, and he remained level 11 because of that for about 4.5 minutes.
And that's going to swing things a lot in the favor of the team he's representing, so going to want to watch out for that one. 15, almost 14 on the clock. 9 to 5 are the kills, and we've got a tight game here, folks, as we have come to expect from Enemy and SoaR. These guys are both very, very talented, and Varizial going to force an option and make SoaR come and respond. Homiefe won't go too far, and we'll just go ahead and invade the blue buff.
I really like this aggressive positioning coming out of SoaR. Blue buff just respawns. They're all here with the exception of Apollo because he has his global ultimate. You want him to be split pushing whenever he can in the dual lane and making sure that he doesn't allow PandaCat to get uncontested farm, putting himself in a position to carry in the mid game.
And again, going back to what I was saying about SoaR being very, very good at making those opportunistic calls. All it was Marauder went back to base. We can make this play. Metyankey in some trouble now, but everybody on SoaR responds. The entire team is now chasing down an Arachne in the sky. Even when she lands, it's going to be trouble. Blinking forward is Homiefe with that teleport. Varizial takes a little bit of poke, but here's a turnaround from enemy. PainDeViande dishing out some damage and stripping the protections. Homiefe in some trouble, and that'll separate him. Double stun from the support in red. Baskin has made the rotation, as has Marauder. Up in the big baby comes the solo lane, and down from the sky is going to look Apollo.
He's waiting for the right opportunity. Comes landing onto PainDeViande. He might need to be careful. He does Mez, and they switch their focus onto Marauder. He's going to have to dash away. First victim is Homiefe.
Varizial's able to pick up 1. PainDeViande's got 1 charge of Zeus on him, not enough to take him out, and it's a 1-for-0. Despite the entire team coming to fight, despite everybody taking damage, only a single player falls thus far, and it's Homiefe, and that's just great attention to being able to retreat right, spacing from everybody involved, and at some point, now Kuang's just getting into some trouble.
And the sustain from Guan has shown so far. He has the meditate available to him. He's only level 11 right now, so once he hits level 12, he's also going to have the shell. If you look at the other relic, we do have the Arachne with a second Sunder. Not used in that team fight, but that's going to be very scary. If Osiris ever decides to commit to an all-in play, that protection reduction coming out of the Sunder is going to provide an easier time to kill him.
Somewhere Awesome to the Max is cheering out loud. Sunder is an item he's been preaching about. He's a former SPL player that's focusing on other things at the moment. Gold Fury being taken at right now, 25% so far. SoaR are in the area. Can they take it? It's leashed, and enemy do pick up the Gold Fury, and they're going to look for the kills afterwards. Homiefe already has the Khepri ult on him, so not going to be available for Hurriwind, who takes a spill again. Credit to the Arachnid. mid. 2 players still isolated, and 1, Baskin, dancing in between a slew of enemy jerseys. He's tanky, but it just might not be enough if Vortex finds it, but it doesn't.
Sunder was actually used onto the Osiris there. If it wasn't used, he'd be about 50% health.
Yep.
So after that goal feed, that was a really risky that they didn't reset it, considering the Zeus chain lightning was there
Yeah.
to detonate, could have potentially stolen it. But the through space in time hit Hurriwind and Metyankey.
And I love this play here. Enemy take the Gold Fury. Usually the other team goes for the mid tower. Enemy understand that Hurriwind is a big part of what SoaR is able to do defensively, and they go for the play. That said, SoaR turns it completely around. 4v5 doesn't matter. Takes out 2 members in a 0 for 2. SoaR, extravagant play in the mid lane.
They really thought they could put pressure in a 5v4 situation, still having Guan use sustain to their arsenal during the tier 1 mid-tower push. However, once Baskin backed, he teleported back to the mid lane with full health, full mana, still having his ultimate as well, allowing to root them for additional tower shots, and it was harder for enemy to disengage. They overcommitted just slightly, and Baskin made them pay the price.
Let's take a look at that Sunder now that we have a chance to actually breathe. SoaR and enemy have been fighting pretty much for the entirety of the 18 minutes. Basically what Sunder does is it's going to do flat damage. It's one of these relics. It's going to do flat damage as well, but this is really what I'm looking at. Does damage, blah, blah, blah. Reduces the target's protection by 25% and then some. That's really the key. That's why this is being purchased, right?
Exactly, and it also does 14 damage per level. Right now, Arachne's level 15, so that's going to do close to 200 damage.
And that's not something to just ignore right there. So what's going to happen is all these tanky targets on SoaR's lot, whether it's Baskin or it's Jigz, both of these characters are going to fall very, very quickly. And don't forget, I mean, even on the squishier targets.
Yes, you could potentially use it on squishy targets such as Kuang. If he ever decides to show his face in a team fight, you can pop your steroid as Arachne, try to burst him down, and Sunder helps you burst it down faster.
And it basically gives you another ability. You're now a character with 5 instead of 4 abilities. You've got Nemesis ult in a pocket, basically. But that burst damage, like you said, Arachne's going to come in, hit the basics, stun you out, hit you with another ability. The spiders are going to chomp you. You'll get hit by Sunder. Death by 1,000 cuts, quite literally.
Exactly.
Mid lane now, being aggressed on by enemy just a little bit, at least positionally. You see so much spread around here. I like the decision from Pain and Varizial to go into the right and left wings in the jungle just to see if SoaR is going to come and try and pincer them behind. That's all well and good. Baskin is there and everybody knows it because Varizial was able to stick his nose in the jungle.
Enemy recognizing just how low this tier 1 mid tower is, they want to take advantage of that fact.
Yep.
They still have the Guan use sustain, and they just want to siege consistently.
Homiefe is going to go ahead and back while enemy pick up the left hand mid Harpies. Homiefe chased out of it.
Also, PandaCat having the Transcendence after the Warrior Tabby allows him to have that extra physical power for his darts
Varizial.
and for his ability to siege the tower.
Look at Varizial. There's the ultimate out of PandaCat. Varizial changes his mind and then changes it again. Coming from the backside, nobody knows. There's the Sanctuary from Hurriwind, just coincidentally had no idea the spider was there. That has stopped a lot of the onslaught coming out from enemy, where they're able to take out the mid tower. That's 500 gold, but they trade the life for the support. And SoaR, they're going to go aggressive. Homie gets 2, still looking for more. Blinks forward with the teleport, fine with what he's got. He's very low, and Apollo will try to find something on the backside. He'll just rejoin the squad.
Baskin yet again providing a lot of CC for his team. He hits a trifecta of an ultimate, slows targets even further, getting the tether off, allowing his team to capitalize on that. Vamana was very low, trying to tank the tower in his big baby form, allowing the dive. Now, I thought it was going to be bad for SoaR originally because the ultimate from Jigz was used on himself really early, but he was able to disengage perfectly, allowing SoaR to capitalize on the aggression from enemy.
You know, this is something that we saw previously, and I want to ask you the solo later. Why is Pestilence built on Vamana when there's no healer on the left side of the screen?
It's also a cheap fix, so necessarily if you don't want to go Bulwark, but you know you're about to start team fighting, you're going to have that extra health power spike, that extra magical defense as well. You have to worry about Kuang and on top of the Zeus.
So it's just the efficiency of the item. It's basically less about how good the item is and more about getting it online right now, similar to what we saw last game with Khaos buying the Bancroft on the Zeus.
There's no meditation either, so this is strictly because of that small power spike that you would get. He didn't want to waste an additional about 375 gold.
And you know, timings are something that we don't really talk about so much here in the SPL. It's very important the timings that these teams take these fights, and they're positioned around itemization like that. So by buying the Pestilence, you essentially catalyze yourself just a minute or two faster than if you were to wait for a longer item.
Chain Lightning taking Khaos down to 50%.
That's
SoaR
a Zeus ult.
looking to do something here.
Yeah, that's a Zeus ult down for Hurriwind in the mid lane as well. A lot of aggression coming out as Varizial gets chased out by way of the ultimate. Now PainDeViande going to dash forward and slow too. The Gold Fury has been leashed, but anything but with the team fight. Hurriwind low. Homiefe again finds his 9th kill of the contest. Hurriwind's shield will last just a second longer. Another big baby able to find the kill. Khaos snipes it out from underneath him. Marauder gets grabbed, 3 players in blue around him, but the dash clear the path, finds a way out. Just kidding. Homiefe shows up. Is it enough to jump forward from the solo lane basket? Marauder safe, but Khaos not so much. Walks through the wall, and him and PandaCat will eventually find safety in their own jungle. Varizial, the only one left. Hurriwind takes a spill, Pain takes a spill, and no one takes the Gold Fury just yet.
It's definitely worthwhile for enemy to trade your support for the mid laner from SoaR. However, SoaR is not discouraged without the burst from the Zeus. They're still going to start the Gold Fury. They forced enemy out of position. They were very low. They had to disengage. Baskin did a good job chasing away Khaos. If Khaos didn't have his portal up, he was definitely going to be dead there as well. Now, Gold Fury being taken for SoaR, 23-minute mark. Goal lead a little bit in their favor, only about 1.1k.
Yeah, and that's definitely a lead that at this point in the game, especially with enemy here, it's really negligible. It's certainly a step in the right direction, but enemy can certainly fight into that. One of the big things about the Arachne pick in the negative department is the fact that Arachne has no presence in a Gold Fury, right? So Arachne's the only one. Full health, full mana, doesn't matter.
It's up to enemies, PainDeViande and PandaCat to create that disruption. And we saw that in the beginning of the team fight. PainDeViande went in with his cavalry charge. PandaCat used his ultimate, so it's difficult to see him.
Right.
And then the through space and time connected onto Homiefe as well, forcing him out of the team fight earlier on. So enemy still has tools in their arsenal to be able to create a distraction, allowing Varizial to eventually follow up. He just has to wait for that right timing to isolate somebody.
And it's been working out well, 4-3-2. You know, the Spider has been doing work here. You see the Genji's Guard being built on him as well. Loving this item in Season 3, especially when you're a character that wants to deal out all of these successful abilities. You get hit by Hurriwind, who's going to hit you. Zeus is going to hit you in these team fights. You're going to activate that, and that certainly helps out as well. So, enemy making a good statement here in this game. SoaR a step ahead almost every single time these guys fight. In fact, almost double the kills in blue versus red.
Just harping a little bit more onto the Genji's Guard, he's also going to have some situations where he's going to be 1v1 against the Kuang.
Yep.
So that cooldown reduction, oh, hold that thought, PandaCat's in trouble.
Yeah, there's the ultimate out of PandaCat to help out against Homiefe. But Janus ult or nah, Metyankey picks up the kill against the enemy hunter, and Marauder finds one against Metyankey. That's the punishment. Jigz being chased down by Pain. Slow going to come out in a couple of seconds, but the route's a little bit better. Doesn't find a target. And it's just a little bit too deep for the guys on enemy as Baskin makes the rotation from solo on the backside. There's the Sunder and the damage coming out. Look how not tanky that Baskin is, but with that ultimate, that'll activate the passive, and now 16% damage reduction, flat out protections or nah. That's going to be a problem.
So he had a 3-man tether. Jigz in a little bit of trouble trying to disengage. Pain also has to disengage as well. So enemy trading 1-for-1, but did a good job forcing Homiefe out of that team fight because of the Jigz ultimate. They gave him that movement speed to increase and run away.
Yeah, Homiefe has been an absolute terror for enemy this time around. 9 kills in total for the young jungler on the side of SoaR. He has been out of control, and this has been one of the gods that Homiefe has really excelled on. You've seen a lot of success for this player on this character. Is it just the aggression that Kuang brings, or is it something else?
It's just the way they synergize together. Homie with Hurriwind, they always play ranked together, and they practice these god compositions like Zeus and Kuang, Uller, Kuang. There's just a large variety of gods that they practice together in ranked.
And when they come together in the SPL, it just works out so well. I mean, you said it in the picks and bans. Zeus is going to look to 100 to 0 somebody, and if he 100s to 10s them, that's fine, because Homiefe is able to clean it up, no problem. I mean, if you look at the player damage, it's certainly respectable. Second on the team, third in overall. Homiefe has been doing a lot of the damage and also cleaning up the kills that his team has unable to been finding the hammer on.
Speaking of player damage, though, we have to respect Khaos's Janus right now. We saw
Oh, yeah.
in that earlier Gold Fury just how much damage he did onto the Zeus behind him, just waiting for that right positioning and being very opportunistic. They have to put a body onto Khaos if he ever does that.
And we keep seeing SoaR attempt to go for it, especially with that 50-stack Doom Orb. That's so enticing to go for the dive, to go for the kill, but always hanging out by a wall. You can see the knowledge of the geometry that the mid laner brings into this contest, just using the portal at any moment's notice because he knows he's going to get blown up like that.
The positioning from enemy, they're trying to force Fire Giant. They know Gold Fury is down. SoaR was a little out of position. Fire Giant at about half health. They're not going to commit to this. They're trying to bait SoaR, maybe find Jigz really out of position and isolated, burst him down with a Sunder and Arachne.
Looking for it, but won't find it. Fire Giant will be released, and there's the ultimate out of PandaCat, and that's going to start the fight. Hurriwind is killed in the knockup. That's what he's looking for. 10 kills for enemy as they finally push into double digits. Metyankey tearing through with those basics, and the ult onto Homiefe just killed at the last second. A little bit of mistiming there coming out from SoaR. And Khaos finds a kill on Metyankey. That's 5-6 for the mid laner. Damage coming out on the Baskin as Baskin brings it to PandaCat, but the Rising Jaguar allows him to get out. Baskin now gets absolutely smoked. Credit to Marauder off the assist to the mid lane, and Varizial finds an exit with 10 HP or less through the hole created by Khaos.
Enemy is such a good team in initiating team fights. You think that, you know, the game is relatively even, but then you're surprised by just how far ahead enemy really is. Execute is good onto Marauder. Wow.
Marauder thought he had enough damage to take Homiefe out in the burst. Wasn't quite the case, and Homiefe, questionable decision there to jump into the group of enemy who have already taken the fire.
He needed to do something to try to potentially steal. He didn't have exact vision control as enemy does have a sentry, so he thought, okay, I got the kill, I healed up a little bit from this kill. Let me see if I could potentially either steal this Fire Giant, or if they already have Fire Giant, maybe find another kill taking that off. Now, what I was mentioning before about enemies team fighting, the way they initiated that, despite being pretty even, was they used the Xbalanque ultimate and the Janus ultimate to go all in. They always find that aggression.
And look at that. One objective after the other. Fire Giant plus Gold Tree equals 48-45 of gold in the lead. Just a couple of minutes ago, SoaR was almost double the kills of enemy. Enemy now only trailing by 3 kills, and that's not the important part. The gold experience and the Fire Giant certainly is, and enemy find themselves significantly in the lead.
And this is going to be enemy's responsibility to find a way to close out the game. Tier 2 towers remaining for SoaR. They do have the aggression that they can utilize. It's a little different, though, to do it in the middle of a lane versus doing it in the jungle. It's easier to hit somebody in the jungle with a Janus ultimate than down the lane. However, the way Khaos has been playing, I wouldn't be surprised if he does find a few targets here or there in the lane.
Yeah, no, this has been Khaos's day for absolute sure. He's been looking fantastic. Not that he's been dropping the ball throughout the season, but this is some of the best play I've honestly ever seen out of him.
We see Varizial usually being the star, making the plays, PainDeViande always setting up his team, but in this game specifically, it's definitely Khaos.
And that's what I like about enemy. They have this baton. They have this baton that they just pass back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it allows them to really position their star power in different spots. That Fire Giant going to allow enemy to do more damage to the tower, but still, SoaR definitely willing to defend against this one, especially with how tanky Baskin has proven to be.
I like the way enemy wasn't too aggressive onto Jigz. Jigz missing his pluck, putting himself a little out of position, but enemy didn't respond by diving the tier 2 tower. They got a little bit of poke on him, and they still continued to siege it, but they didn't want to go past that tower for the kill.
This time the pluck is successful, and Khepri forced to ult himself. Marauder goes up into the big baby to sort of mitigate some of the damage coming out as Osiris jumps on top to stop the healing. Osiris now looking for an exit on the right side as everybody from enemy has gone that way. PandaCat by his lonesome in the mid lane will keep on pushing as everybody from SoaR they take a couple of pieces of damage. They'll head back to base to heal up. Whereas PandaCat, he's got a full wave. He might be able to solo this tower.
He might be, as we do see enemy position themselves in the solo lane. That team fight, even though enemy was disengaging, SoaR couldn't find the chase because of Khaos's ultimate. It hit Metyankey and Hurriwind in the back.
Not only does PandaCat pick up the mid tower for free, but the right-hand tower will also go down. Enemy strikes all structures off of the map for SoaR. and they're just going to keep on pushing forward. Right-hand side, Fire Giant side of the map. Enemy now looking to make a play on the Phoenix, or at least bait SoaR into sending somebody forward.
And when you have Xbalanque with Fire Giant, with Branching Bola, with Transcendence as well, you're going to chunk this Phoenix. However, enemy needs to put themselves in a position where PandaCat can go those free hits. And right there, 209 damage per hit. Just a few there, and it's already about 60 to 70% health.
Yeah, and so much damage coming out from the Hunter as PainDeViande leads the charge. Pain is going to take a couple of shots for himself. He wants Jigz to grab this Guan Yu. He wants to get grabbed by Guan Yu so the rest of his team can go face off against either the players or, in PandaCat's case, the objective itself. There's Jigz looking directly at PainDeViande as everybody else goes elsewhere. 700 damage from the Roslyn Wrecking Ball. Khaos doing absolutely everything for this squad. Baskin down to half HP thanks to the Sunder. He's forced to jump backwards. That said, SoaR starts the fight. One kill going the way of SoaR, and that's it. Enemy does not want this fight anymore, and SoaR will force it. Metyankey specifically lands in the middle of 4. Instant Sanctuary, knowing the damage is going to come out, and his team unable to find the kills. But Varizial isolated. Different story this time around than the Marauder. Homiefe still looking for the fight, but knows better than to chase too deep into this jungle.
He knows of the potential that Varizial has with the Genji's guard.
Yep.
He has the sustain. He has the cooldowns as well, having Yoden's Wrath. However, now he's putting himself in an awkward position. He does have his ultimate, however, to escape. Baskin's thinking about chasing?
He'll give a little bit of chase, but over the wall. And that's no problem, honestly. I mean, very rarely do you want to initiate with your Arachne ultimate. That ultimate is specifically an escape, I would say.
More often than not, 90% of the time you're using that ulti to bail out or to try to get a confirmed kill after the team fight is already chaotic. And in enemy's situation, you have the Xbalanque and the Guan Yu that can make it very chaotic.
Fun piece of itemization that we haven't really touched upon comes out on the Arachne. Now, it's interesting here because Shield of Regrowth is one of these items that it's a niche item as Fire Giant has started. And basically, all attacks, as you heal, you get more movement speed. And this is an item that the numbers are low. It's not really for every god, but it's absolutely perfect for what Arachne does.
And that actually tops her off in terms of cooldown reduction.
Yep.
That caps her about the 40% mark. Yoden's given her 20, Genji's is 10, and the Shield of Regrowth is that final 10 that she needed to the puzzle.
And so it just works out so well. It's absolutely perfectly fit. Marauder gets grabbed by Jigz and bursted by everyone. Got to find a way out. Does Hurriwind have the damage? The detonate already been used, and Marauder will still be alive. And look at the diamonds. They're all up except for Hurriwind's. That's a good play coming out from SoaR as they force Marauder off of the objective.
Trading Zeus ult for Xbalanque ult, it's going to be harder now for enemy to initiate without the Xbalanque ult, but at the same time, it's going to be harder for SoaR to defend without the Zeus ult.
And without that, enemy still willing to go ahead and at least pretend to go for the Fire Giant. Baskin sticking around. And he's just basic attack in the air. That passive's so fun.
Both teams just trying to see if they can pick anyone off. Marauder being a little aggressive, but not going to really find anything.
Now SoaR being very aggressive, pushing forwards. Jigz misses the pluck, and now Baskin, very low, jumps in place, stops Marauder from healing just a little bit. Shell popped out from SoaR. That's going to be a lot of damage reduction coming out from the blue squad. Enemy doesn't care. Pushing forward is Marauder, shell of his own. And that's going to be enough to push at least Baskin out of the picture.
That one unstable vortex onto Hurriwind hit him for about 40 to 50% health. The ultimate from Khaos this time doesn't connect, but it provided the maneuverability that enemy needs to reposition themselves. Starting the Fire Giant already less than half health. Can SoaR find anything? They find Marauder.
And that's going to be a death and a kill going the way of Homiefe. 25% on that Fire Giant until it was leashed. And now SoaR look like they have the advantage. Homie planning his attack. Lands down after Khaos uses the portal. Finds the kill with the hit out of the Dragon Call. And that's going to be trouble for enemy. They've lost 2, and they did get the Fire Giant. There's PandaCat, but it just seems too little too late.
I like this idea from PandaCat, using his ultimate, trying to find the kill onto the Apollo, using the range extension that you get from that ultimate. Varizial having to use his ulti defensively to run away. PandaCat yet again trying to come in from the backside. Baskin's very low, Hurriwind's very low, Metyankey's extremely low into the red. SoaR might elect to start this Fire Giant, but enemy could very easily stop this if PandaCat shows his head.
Yeah, Jigz is here, and he's going to play spacing. PandaCat does have the damage forward, 50% on the Fire Giant already. Zeus ultimate is down, and that's going to start the rush. PandaCat forced out, tons of damage going the way of the Hunter, and that is a Fire Giant for SoaR. It's been back and forth. Let's take a look at the picture of the game, folks. 19-13, read the kills, and it's enemy still way in the lead with respects to experience and gold, but SoaR has made the statement. We are here to play. We've got the Fire Giant, and in 36 minutes, it's just a couple of more minutes for this, where this gold lead will actually matter.
This doesn't put SoaR in a position to close out the game, but it prevents enemy from doing so. With the advantage that enemy had, they had the gold lead, they had the experience lead, and now SoaR is going to be able to stall this out by having the Fire Giant. They're going to be able to push these towers now and sort of cut the gap. Around the 75,000 to 80,000 gold mark is where these full itemization builds will come online.
Right, and so with the 8,000, that's a nice thing to look at for before, but not so much anymore. This Gold Fury will pretty much even things up. 73,000 gold turns to 74, and still 6,000 trailing, but like you said, these teams are pretty much even as far as the itemization is concerned at this point. So the gold lead now largely irrelevant. It's really just enemy against SoaR, and SoaR's the one with the Fire Giant.
SoaR with the Fire Giant putting pressure onto the tier 1 tower. Does get it very easily. Enemy not interested in trying to contest it. Looking to set their sights onto the tier 2. They have to be very careful. Janus around the corner. He's going to all in right now.
And there's the hit. It's going to hit one, and there's the Hunter forced way out of the way. Metyankey going to get down to 40% HP. Hurriwind drops the ultimate and nobody cares. Walking right on through his Marauder. Half HP for him, and he's still up in the baby, trying to space out the enemy. Baskin gets the luxury of the Khepri ult, which wasn't used at all. Fantastic patience coming out from Jigz.
And the way enemy is able to engage this with SoaR having Fire Giant is very impressive.
And look at Hurriwind just completely surrounded, but Metyankey is able to surround Varizial himself. PandaCat gets a kill on the Hurriwind finally, and Baskin as well, still surrounded, but they're caught out. Marauder was looking for the kill, but Homiefe able to find the execute. Khaos picks up one as well. 3 dead on enemy, 2 dead on SoaR. Make that 4 dead on enemy. Double kill for Homiefe. He has been absolutely lights out. 14 kills in total for the Dragon King.
That's really impressive to have this kind of a stat line in the SPL level.
Yeah.
Now, what enemy did good there was they defended the tier 2 very successfully, but then they overextended. They had the Guan use sustain, but you always have to respect the sustain coming out of the Fire Giant buff. It's just as good as the Guan use sustain, if not better. Now, SoaR, recognizing they have this 3v1 advantage, trying to get the Titan. Homiefe is doing a lot of damage. He is full build. Can he get it?
And it certainly looks like it totally. 2,500 gold, health, experience, whatever it is. The Titan had it once, and now it doesn't. Dead. Neck and neck the entire game. And SoaR wind up on top at the end.
And that puts them closer to enemy.
If SoaR, like you said, we came into this weekend with a situation where the first place spot was actually shared between two teams. 2-0 for enemy in the previous engagement. If SoaR wind up winning the next one, we'll have a situation where two teams are sharing the #1 spot in the SPL. It's up